Hello and welcome to our Experienced AP Coordinator Workshop. My name's Carrie Larison from Westfield, Indiana, and I began as an AP coordinator back in 2006. Next, I'd like to introduce you to my co-host, Mark.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark Helgeson. I'm an AP coordinator at Riverside Brookfield High School in Riverside, Illinois, and I am entering my 10th year as an AP coordinator.
So as an experienced AP coordinator, each year I try to find, well, one or two things that I can do just a little bit better than the previous year. So as we're going through this workshop, perhaps there'll be something that stands out to each of you as an area of focus for the upcoming year as well. So let's get started by taking a look at today's agenda. So as we can see here, we are going to have a program overview, share some resources and support, and then wrap up the session. We look forward to engaging in conversation with you, so let's go ahead and get started. And as we begin, and during each of our section breaks today, we'll also feature a student submission from the 2024 AP Art and Design exhibition. So I hope you're enjoying this piece like I am from Karis Lam from the International Christian School in Hong Kong. Now, being an AP coordinator is a team effort. We might sometimes feel like we're alone, but we do have additional roles and colleagues to help us support throughout the AP program and throughout the year. So, we are the conduit through which all information regarding AP students, AP teachers, and the whole AP program flows between our school and the College Board. But the roles below are individuals we work closely with in order to support our AP students, their testing experience, and of course, our AP teachers as well. So starting on the left there, we have our SSD coordinator who continues to be an integral part of our team. Of course, with so many digital and special format exams, I also couldn't do my job without the help of our technology coordinator. And then while I've always had the role of AP course audit administrator myself, it may be someone different at your school. Of course, we also need to the help of our colleagues along the bottom row as well. Now that we've had a year of digital exams under our belt, we might decide that some of our communication with families could be improved, or maybe we want to tweak our training of proctors now that we have a better understanding of Test Day Toolkit. But hopefully you're looking at these support people and thinking of ways to maybe improve and use them a little bit more this year. So altogether, everyone on this slide works with us with AP coordinators to ensure that we meet our goals each year. So let's move on now to an important question that I'm sure is on all of our minds. And that is, what are the important deadlines to remember? So if you're taking notes, get ready. However, you will get many email reminders of these deadlines throughout the year. So the first order deadline is the final ordering deadline on November 14th, 2025 at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, that's our final deadline to submit our exam order for our standard full year and our fall semester only AP courses. But it's also our deadline for our exam only sections without incurring additional fees. Now, as we probably all know, exams can be ordered or even canceled after this date. However, in most of those cases, an additional fee will apply.
And I will cover the spring course orders and fall order changes deadline. That's March 13th, 2026. And just as Carrie pointed out, at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is not a local time for this deadline. This is the deadline to order all exams for AP courses, such as spring semester only courses that begin after November 14th, and to update those fall orders. Keep in mind, late order fees, canceled exam fees, and unused exam fees may apply at this deadline.
And now in my school, though, I do like to set deadlines well in advance of the College Board deadlines, and that's totally fine. For me, our school starts in early August, so my deadline is the end of August. It may be different for you. And AP does provide us with a preferred ordering deadline of October 4th. So that might be a good date for you to share with your colleagues, your students, and your parents if that's a change you want to make this year, setting an earlier deadline than November 14th. It just really gives us great time to confirm our order, time to collect exam fees before submitting our orders, which is not required, but many coordinators like to have the money in hand before they submit their order. And speaking of money, payment is not due until June 15th. That's the postmark deadline for submitting our payment to College Board.
And a special note here, international schools working with test centers may have different deadlines and instructions.
Now, we mentioned fees, so let's go over fees a little bit. Great news here. The cost of AP exams remains the same in 2025-26 as it did last year. I don't think I remember that ever happening. And the amount of the College Board fee reduction also remains the same. So for our on-time exam orders, those are $99 per exam at schools in the US, US territories, Canada, Department of Defense schools. New this year, notice the little blue new icon. That includes AP capstone courses, our AP seminar and AP research. So great news there. They will not be a higher price like they have in the past. Now, for our schools outside the United States, for everywhere else, they're $129 per exam. And once again, new this year, that 129 fee also includes capstone exams.
And Carrie already mentioned this, but let's go ahead and reinforce that the College Board fee reduction for eligible students remains the same at $37 per exam this year. You see that AP Coordinator's Manual Part 1 icon in the top right-hand corner of your screen. That does indicate that there is more information about fee reductions, including eligibility, in that AP Coordinator's Manual Part 1.
And once again, we do get to keep a school rebate of $9 per exam. So if we are asking students for $99 per exam, we will not be invoiced that $99. We're just going to be invoiced $90 per exam. So 99 that we charge students minus the 90 that we're invoiced leaves that $9 for us to keep to use to improve our program in however ways we see fit. Schools International Test Centers, though, do continue to determine how and when to collect exam fees and how much.
As we start talking about late order and late testing fees, it's worth pointing out that we're going to see the number $40 here, $40 fee in a handful of different contexts over the next couple slides. So I'll start first with the late order fee. That is $40 per exam, and this applies to all exams that are ordered after that November 14th, 2025 final ordering deadline. This is applicable for full year courses, fall semester courses, and students enrolled in exam-only sections. Keep in mind, this is in addition to the base exam fee. And there are definitely exceptions to this that we can find in the AP Coordinator's Manual Part 1.
And we also do have a late testing fee that is also, as Mark said, $40 per exam. And this is applicable for alternate exams that are administered in the late testing window. And like the late order fee, is in addition to that base exam fee that we talked about on the previous slide. Great news is, though, most reasons for late testing do not incur that $40 late testing fee. And we can find out all those wonderful reasons in the AP Coordinator's Manual, Part 1. Canceled and unused exam fees. So the little difference between canceled and unused exams. And we can see right here in the middle that March 13th is really that difference. So before March 13th, we have what we call cancel exams. If a student changes their mind, they cancel their order after the November 14th deadline, but before the March 13th deadline. And we can go ahead and cancel it. However, in that situation, the original exam fee is removed from the invoice and is replaced by that $40 canceled exam fee. Now, we always want to make sure that our invoice is accurate. So to do that, we want to make sure that we do the cancel exam in AP registration and ordering.
Okay, and I'm going to move to the right-hand side of the screen. So this indicates we're after that March 13th, 2026 spring course orders and fall order changes deadline. That canceled exam fee now turns into an unused exam fee. This is also $40 per exam. This is for exams that are ordered but not administered. Keep in mind, unused exams cannot be transferred to another student. Just like Carrie said, for the canceled exam fee, the original exam fee is removed from the invoice. And we want to make sure, again, that we are accurately invoiced. So we do want to indicate an exam as unused in AP registration and ordering. There's also a note here on the screen. AP coordinators can call AP services to request a waiver of the canceled exam fee for students undergoing circumstances where it's in their best interest to drop their AP class. Let's talk about a scenario here. It's after November 14th, a student struggling, whether it's academic overload, a mental health challenge, anything like that. We have all the stakeholders on the same page, the student, the parent, the teacher, the counselor, the AP coordinator. We think it's probably not best for the student to continue in this AP class. We can go ahead and use drop student in AP registration and ordering. This will result in that $40 canceled exam fee, but then the AP coordinator, we can call AP services to ask for that cancellation fee to be waived. A best practice suggestion here is just hold on to your drop students and call to waive them all when you think you're done with this process, likely a few weeks into that second semester. So that covers deadlines and fee information. Let's talk now about collecting AP exam fees.
One thing that I really appreciate as an AP coordinator is that how and when schools collect AP exam fees is a local decision. It's up to our school. And the amount that we collect is also a local decision. So, a few examples: schools can collect prior to or after the exam order has been submitted. Some will utilize additional funding sources in lieu of collecting exam fees. Some might not collect exam fees at all. We may collect deposits prior to ordering to cover that canceled or unused exam fee, or we could collect the full amount all at one time. And many schools receive additional funding and federal and state funding. So some schools will collect a small amount of incremental money to cover certain costs. I know at my building, sometimes we've had to ask for a little bit more for, tables and maybe offsite testing rental, things like that. We also may have refund policies, and that's also a school level decision. So, special note here: international schools working with test centers may have different deadlines and instructions. So, again, at my school, we do collect the exam fees. It's happening, right now, actually, because we have what we call book rental fees in Indiana. So students do have to pay that. We added into those book rental fees as additional fees for them in our central office. Our bookkeeper actually collects that money.
So a best practice here, kind of like you just mentioned there, Carrie, as you work with your bookkeeper at your school, is to recruit help with collecting AP exam fees. A colleague on campus or a third-party vendor can assist with the collection process. You always just want to make sure you're working with other people to help kind of take the burden of this process off of just you as the AP coordinator. So always look to recruit help with collecting AP exam fees. Let's next talk about the AP exam schedule.
So let's discuss our exam administration in 2026. And as always, exams are administered on specific dates and times. And the standard administration will be the first 2 full weeks of May. So this coming year, that's May 4th through the 15th, with late administration being the full third week of May. Now you can find that exam schedule online. It's also in the AP Coordinator's Manual, Part 1. So that's the AP exam schedule. Let's briefly remind ourselves next about the AP exam formats. So all the courses here on this slide are fully digital. So what does that mean? That means that students will complete the multiple choice and free response questions totally in Blue Book. And then at the end, all the responses are automatically submitted at the end of the exam. So as we can see, this includes really our social studies, our language arts, but also including our computer science and environmental science. So it's important to note that all administrations, whether it's given in the standard testing window or the late testing window, will be fully digital for all of the exams listed here.
I'll go ahead and cover the AP exams in the hybrid digital format. This is where students complete multiple choice questions and view free response questions in Blue Book. They handwrite their free response answers in paper exam booklets and then return those for scoring. No reason to read all of these. You can kind of take a look at the list here and see that most of these exams are going to be your STEM-based exams. There are a couple exceptions there. AP macroeconomics and AP microeconomics kind of fit into this category as well. Again, it's important to note that all administrations, both standard and late testing, will be hybrid digital for all of the exams listed here. Let's talk now about where to find more information on digital AP exams.
Yeah, there's really some great information available to us on the digital AP exams webpage, including information on the topics that you see here on the slide: the Blue Book app, exam day guides, accommodations. And like last year, there'll be webinars available throughout the school year to keep us all up to date on digital testing. But you can always use the 2 links that you see here to find specific information as well.
And let's talk about now AP exams that require additional resources and or special equipment to administer. You can go ahead and see from the left to the right there, we have a couple different batches. There's the left-hand side, the digital portfolio exams. These are going to be your art and design exams, your capstone exams, and computer science principles. They require use of that digital portfolio system. In the middle, we can see our exams that require special equipment for listening or recording. These are going to typically be your world language and culture exams, as well as AP music theory. And then we have on the right-hand side of the screen, those exams that are administered in school on computers, but not utilizing Blue Book. That's going to be your AP Chinese and AP Japanese language and culture exams. Next, let's take a look ahead to see how some of these exams will look a bit different in the very near future.
Very exciting, coming very, very soon to us, and I think this is something we've all been looking forward to and asking for several years. We are going to be shifting to Blue Book no earlier than May 2027 in the following courses. AP Spanish Literature and Culture will be fully digital, and AP Music Theory will be hybrid digital. And then, as you can see in the bottom half of the slide, all of our other world languages, including Chinese and Japanese, will be undergoing course and exam revisions and shifting to Blue Book in a fully digital format, again, no earlier than May 2027. So as we're kind of planning ahead, just keep in mind all exams will use Blue Book in the future. And we might want to start planning for wired headsets with microphones in the near future as well. And then that DAC app and DAS Portal will no longer be needed. It'll be discontinued. So for those of us who have used handheld digital recorders, those will be a thing of the past. And again, we can start planning now for that necessary equipment. So let's move next to discussing how we'll be there to support you all along the way this year. Another great piece of artwork here from Valeria, who comes to us from Jordan High School in Texas. And brings us to section 2, which is our resources and supports. And we do understand that adult learners consume information in a variety of ways. So we do have resources available to match how coordinators want to learn, whether you like to learn through reading, through talking, through videos, and or just listening. First, on the left-hand side, let's just highlight our AP Coordinator Experience webpage, and that has all of our event registrations, like for Chat with the Coordinator and our back-to-school workshops. It also has our coordinated podcasts and links to AP Coordinator-specific resources. It's likely how you found us today, actually, and it's how you can keep in touch with us throughout the year.
Next, let's shift over to the AP Coordinators Manuals, Part 1 and 2. Part 1 includes frequently requested information, including go-to refreshers for most of the fee and deadline information we discussed in the previous section, while Part 2 covers topics after we submit our exam order, including all exam administration and post-administration tasks.
Yeah, and one additional note, international schools working with test centers may have different deadlines and instructions that vary from what's found in the AP Coordinators Manual Part 1. So just want to make sure you're aware of that. And where else can we find the AP Coordinators Manual? Well, here on the left in our AP Coordinator Resource Library, which is just a great place to find and download all of our AP publications. It'll also be updated throughout the school year as new resources become available, such as accommodations guide, maybe door signs for our AP testing, information on scripts. All that will be available in the resource library.
And if you're looking to join over 10,000 colleagues to ask questions or seek guidance or share resources or kind of gather some resources from fellow AP coordinators, you can do no better than the AP coordinator community. And speaking of resources on the community, if you're an experienced AP coordinator looking for a badge for your email signature, go ahead and head to the resources section on the community to download one today. Breaking news, those were just released. After we join the AP coordinator community, we can indicate that we'd like to receive summaries of posts referred to as the daily digests. And this is where you can receive one email each day with a summary of all the new content that was posted in the last 24 hours. It's a great way to keep up on all the things happening in the world of AP coordinators.
And one that's really exciting that was new last year is our AP Coordinator Experience channel on YouTube. Here you can review dozens of on-demand videos created to help guide and support AP coordinators. We've got several playlists there for you, including support for AP coordinators, the AP registration, ordering, different demos there, and support for our AP students. And you can bookmark this link. Just click on the slides and it'll take you right there. Now let's talk about training opportunities for AP coordinators. Chat with the coordinator is an all-time favorite of many AP coordinators that we've heard throughout the several of the past few years. And it's just a great place to collaborate with a small group of AP coordinators. There are 1-hour Zoom sessions. And again, nothing scripted. Everything we talk about is whatever participants bring up. Now, when registration is open, we can register for sessions through the link on the slide or through the AP Coordinator Experience page.
Let's go ahead and identify and talk about that coordinated podcast that you see on the right-hand side of the screen. And while I'm kind of talking about it, if you want to scan that QR code with your Apple or Android phone, that'll take you right to where podcasts can be found right now. Coordinated can be found anywhere that hosts podcasts. It's an on-demand audio conversation hosted by fellow AP coordinators, and episodes feature timely topics of interest and best practices for AP coordinators everywhere. It's really a great listen. I tend to listen on Monday mornings each week on my drive into the school building. That does conclude our discussion of resources and supports. Let's go ahead and wrap up today's video and share some additional information and helpful info for you to continue to kind of keep in touch with us throughout the school year.
Yes, and while we wrap it up here, again, another wonderful piece of artwork here from Marcel, who comes to us from Somerset Prep Academy in Homestead, Florida.
I really enjoy talking about this annual overview and resources slides because along the top is an indicator of when you may be busiest as an AP coordinator this coming year. Red indicates those kind of higher levels of business. Yellow, it's kind of that medium busy, and then green is it's a low busyness. I do want to point out always that across the top there, August to November is listed as red, but really I try to minimize that as much as possible by setting an earlier exam enrollment deadline for my students and teachers. So August and September is pretty busy for me, but we're pretty much wrapped up by the time we get to the beginning of October with our exam order. Below that are some markers indicating important dates and deadlines, some of which we've talked about in the workshop here today. And at the bottom are all the resources that are available to you and when they're available to you. Many of them we just discussed in the previous section. We also want to share a few more valuable resources before we officially wrap our time with you in this video.
Yeah, the first one's the AP academic calendar. Who doesn't love a good color-coded academic calendar here? So it does show all of the major dates and that are important to us as coordinators, including our ordering deadlines, fee reductions, shipping, invoice, postmark, all that great information. It also includes dates for the AP Coordinator Experience Team live events, the ones we mentioned earlier, chat with the coordinator in our back to school workshop. And again, you can bookmark it at the link shown here.
Next, let's talk about our monthly AP Coordinator emails. The first is the AP Coordinator newsletter. This features reminders for upcoming deadlines and new resources, monthly checklists, links to important course-specific information, and notices for upcoming AP events. This is the first of two resources that you will receive each month. The other is the AP Coordinator Training, Professional Development, and Resources email. This features previews and registration links to all the training opportunities we've just discussed, links to the most recent coordinated podcast episodes, links to recently released on-demand training videos, and links to helpful resources for AP coordinators. A best practice here, create an email folder for all AP-related emails by school year, and it's worth noting, we do not have to do anything to receive these emails. Both go automatically to the AP coordinator and the backup AP coordinator.
And I love having this page right at my fingertips near a phone, near my computer, just some great contact information that we might need to use throughout the year, including AP services for educators, AP services for students, and then course audit and SSD, as well as some other helpful websites. And if you haven't used the live chat feature, I really encourage you to try it. Very great feedback on those. When that live chat button is blue, when you're on AP Central, that means there's someone there to chat with you. When it's gray, it means that it's not that time of day right now. So this is a summary of the contact information. Hope you enjoyed as much as I do.
It has been a pleasure being with you today. Please go ahead and check the video's description to find a survey. We're always open to hearing feedback from AP coordinators and how we can continue to improve on sessions like this. A little bonus there, if you complete the survey, you will receive a link to the slides that we have shown in the new AP coordinator track. So please go ahead and take that survey if you want to get access to those slides. Just wanted to say thanks for spending time with us before I turn it over to you one last time, Carrie.
Yeah, actually, thank you so much. I'll just echo that, Mark. It's been a pleasure being with you today, and I hope this has been helpful.